All right, let's talk about motivation and sole plate sizes. Because I actually got out the ruler and decided to measure my sway sole plate compared to some of my other sole plates. And it was a shocking difference. So keep in mind this is after already being worn in, all of them basically. But my faction sole plates are about 45 millimeters. Maybe closer to 43 with the worn in edge, and my sways are about 38-39 millimeters, which is way more narrow than I expected. I know they felt narrow, but I have never actually heard anybody talk about the sways having a narrow sole, and 38 might not be narrow when it's all things considered, but I measured all of my sole plates, and it is the smallest sole plate besides my T-necks, which are also 38 millimeters. And that's a sole frame setup. So that was interesting. That's probably why a lot of my tricks have looked a little bit better with my sways. It's because I'm just kind of forced to use my knees more if I want to get boot down on anything. Otherwise, I just don't get boot down. When I measured my blanks, those were like at 47 millimeters in some places, just massive. And that's with the frame being 5 millimeters deeper into the sole plate because of how the frame sits into the boot on the blanks. So it's just a huge difference in the boot down angle. It's like crazy different. So I think that's part of the reason why I felt a little bit worse on topside grinds when it comes to my sways, and a little bit better on everything else. Because everything else I feel pretty good on, so I can get right on top of it. And because the sways are the way they are, that feels great. But on some of my topside grinds, I still get kind of nervous and still kind of lock in rolling sometimes. Like when I mess up, I'm rolling on the deck and then I lock in. And when you have a smaller sole plate and you land wheels down, as soon as you try to put down the sole over the coping, if it's not over on top of the coping, then you just slip out across the top. An extra 5 millimeters of sole plate length really helps a lot. So I might try giving my blanks a shot again. I remember I had a completely pain-free fit on my blanks. The only reason I switched away from them was because they were very heavy. And I did set them up yesterday. I got a very nice fit in terms of like just around my house, and they do feel heavy. Blanks without frames are heavier than my sways with frames. But it's interesting the difference between the sole plate sizes. Because when you first look at the sway, it looks very narrow. Like the boot looks narrow. The sole plate doesn't really look narrow, but it looks very form-fitting. And when you compare it just holding it in hand next to the other boots, it seems like it's all around the same size. But 5 millimeters is a pretty big difference. And I measured everything else. I measured my Fifth Elements. I measured my Razor SLs. My GAWDs. The GAWDs probably have the biggest sole plate. And it stays big throughout the groove. That's another thing about these USD sways is the backslide groove tapers in quite a bit. So not only is the sole plate a little bit more narrow, but the narrowest part of the sole plate is where you royale. So that's why a lot of my royales have looked a lot better. Because it's either you're in or you're out. There's no in between. And when you have a really easy royale angle, it makes your royales look way worse. Because you can't really like force your boot to turn more. Because then the wheels lift up and the frame lifts up and you're basically cess sliding. Which is fine too, but you want your frame locked in and your backside groove locked in at the same time. In previous videos, probably like 6 months ago, I used to talk about how I wanted to buy M12s to get more of a small sole plate feeling. And that's part of the reasons why I liked my T-neck so much. Even though I didn't really like the frame, I liked the boot. And I think the sway really gives me all the things that I liked out of my T-neck, but even better. I did watch Michael Vitzman's new video where he was talking about his new Pro model, and he did mention that the plastic might be softer on his neck sway. So one of my big complaints about this current sway that I'm riding right now is the plastic is really, really hard. It fits my foot great, so it doesn't hurt, but I can't really tighten things too much, or it actually does hurt immediately. So you can notice sometimes my cuffs are really, really loose, and I have my intuition liner done up really tight. Thankfully, the intuition liners give you plenty of support. Otherwise, I'm not sure I'd even be able to skate these. Because with my second skin liners, they fit and they don't hurt, but they just have no support into the second skins. Because I can't actually do up the plastic cuff tight enough to get support. In this video, the whole time I've been trying to land most of my tricks to fakie, and it's a very frustrating experience. I've done most of them at this point, but they just don't look great, so I end up being more frustrated and doing the trick like 1,000 more times than I need to, because I just wanted to get it to look better, and ultimately I'm just not great at skating backwards, so it's just not going to look that great when I do it. That comes to my next topic, and it's motivation. I've noticed my motivation a little bit lately has been kind of trailing downwards. It's not because I'm having less fun or anything. I think it's because my standards are just raising for myself. Like when I land the trick, it's not just good enough for me to get to the end. Like previously, if I just got to the end of the box, no matter how I was balancing my trick, that was enough for me. But now, unless it felt really good and I knew that I was like balanced on top of it, just don't feel the same level of satisfaction. And I was kind of worried about that. But for a long time, I was able to kind of put that in my back pocket and not really think about it. But now that I have a bigger bag of tricks, I really just want to make them look better. Like that felt pretty good. I've done a lot of these tricks to fakie before, besides my new switch up like that one. I think I've done that one to fakie before as well, but they just don't look good, so they don't feel as satisfying. And on camera, they don't really look that much worse than the way I do it landing regular, but I don't know, it just doesn't feel right. I need to go to the skate rink and just spend hours skating backwards, nothing but backwards, so I get more comfortable with it. Like you see here, I keep doing the same tricks over and over again because I just want to clean it up, and I ultimately just keep landing it the same exact way. Like I'm not getting better. So unstable when I land backwards.
Oh my god!
Even though I don't really feel super unstable when I land backwards, it reminds me of when I first started landing tricks forward. It looked really bad on camera, but it felt like I was pretty stable, if that makes sense. There comes a point where I stop landing super rigid, and I start bending my knees more and sinking into the landing. I feel like I've only recently started doing that with my forward landings. So when it comes to landing fakie, it's going to take a lot of months of every session continuing to do this over and over and over again until I get more comfortable with it. And I have been skating less lately on purpose because I don't want to lose motivation. I notice if I overdo things, I can very quickly start feeling like, I don't want to go today, I'll be going tomorrow. So now I've kind of brought myself down to an every other day schedule. So I'll try to skate every other day. And if it's raining or if I just don't feel like it the day that I'm supposed to skate, then I'll take that day off. And that's been working really well for me. But as you can tell, I'm not progressing quite as quickly. I'm making more mini progressions along the way. When I was skating literally every single day, there was like a 6-month period where I was skating, I'd say on average 6.5 times a week. Because most weeks I was skating every single day, and I had 2-3 weeks worth of videos scheduled out. I was like so far ahead of everything because I was skating so much. But it was fun, and I was addicted to skating at the time, but it's too much. The body can't keep up with that much skating. I was sore all the time. My sleep wasn't the best. So we started to cut down purposely, and I think that's making me have more fun in my sessions because I'm more excited just to be able to skate. Even though I might be performing a little bit more inconsistently than I would like, I'm just more excited to get out there. And I'm doing a lot more group sessions, which is a lot more fun in general because skating with people is always more fun. But I end up kind of settling into the same type of tricks. So over the next few weeks, you are going to see a lot of me trying to land fakie and transition skating. It will happen. I know probably 10 videos ago I said you will see me skate transition in the next 10 videos. And I kind of did, if you want to count regular down ramps on the way to rails and stuff. But I know that doesn't count. We'll actually skate transition soon. I got to be there mentally. I got to be super motivated and super excited about it. And right now, I'm just having fun knowing that I have tricks to go to the park with, if that makes sense. I used to be so nervous before I skated that I wasn't going to be able to do anything. Now that I can just show up after not skating for a couple of days and bust out a bunch of switch-ups and tricks and work on a few things, it just makes me more happy about where I stand as a skater, if that makes sense. With that being said, I will see you guys next time. This session has a few more attempts and then the recap at the end. Let me know what you guys think. Peace.
I got stuck.